Here's Matt Wrack.
Thanks very much, Claire. It's a great pleasure to be here on behalf of the Fire Brigades Union. Well, we're proud to be a long-time affiliate since the foundation of the current Labour Representation Committee. And you may know that the Fire Brigades Union was actually affiliated to the Labour Party in 1918 and took a decision in 2004 to disaffiliate from the Labour Party. And disaffiliated in the aftermath of a dispute that we had in 2002-2003 under the Blair government because our members decided democratically through their structures to campaign for a pay rise and were absolutely castigated by the government then including being called fascists by one leading Labour politician. And following that and a long-running dispute, the conference decided to disaffiliate. And I'll come back to that in a moment. I'm also very pleased to be here representing the Trade Union Coordinating Group that Claire has mentioned. The Trade Union Coordinating Group is a group of 9 unions, and again, by and large, apart from the exception of the Bakers Union, unaffiliated unions. Unions, by and large, on the left of the movement in many of the political debates that we're facing. That keeps cutting in and out, by the way. The TUCG, as I say, represented 9 unions, and on the question of the Corbyn-McDonnell leadership, the Trade Union Coordinating Group issued very quickly after the close of at the close of TUC. Can I put that down? It's just.
Fine.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Issued a statement on behalf of those 9 unions, saying very clearly that we fully supported the election of Jeremy Corbyn as Labour leader and his decision to appoint John McDonnell as Shadow Chancellor. Because anyone who followed that debate in the run-up to the announcement of John's appointment will have seen that there was a huge effort put in place to prevent Jeremy Corbyn from appointing his long-time ally and friend as Shadow Chancellor. And I have to say, and disgracefully, also from within the ranks of the trade union movement that pressure was being applied. So I'm very proud that the TUCG came out very clearly and unequivocally to support both Jeremy and John as playing a key role on behalf of working people both in the Labour Party and for affiliated unions. But, and this is a key point, this movement goes far, far wider than that. What we've seen created over the summer is the start of a mass movement. A mass movement that hopefully doesn't involve banners falling on people. Because almost out of the blue, Jeremy, who struggled and argued to get on the ballot paper, people who dismissed the left of the Labour Party, dismissed the left in politics, suddenly taken aback by what happened over the summer, by that massive movement of meetings up and down the country, of thousands of people turning out, people not being able to get in to meetings that Jeremy Corbyn addressed. And that reflected something going on in British politics. It reflected the beginnings, as I say, of a mass movement that has challenged the politics, the consensus of politics that has been rammed down our throats for the past 30 years. The consensus that says there is no alternative to the market, there is no alternative to cuts, there is no alternative to the rule of politics in this society by the rich, by the banks and by big business. And underneath what was going on is that actually tens and hundreds of thousands of people are sick to the back teeth of hearing politicians who all look the same, talk the same, and when it comes down to it, actually spout the same politics with little nuances of difference. And people actually want a movement and want politicians who say what they really think and say what they really feel and are willing to challenge the status quo. And that is a huge echo that Jeremy has got during this campaign. And isn't it fantastic to see a mass political movement developing that is against austerity, that is against war, workers' rights, that is unapologetic in standing up for trade unions and trade union rights. We had a Labour government for 13 years that failed to fundamentally deal with the Tory anti-union laws that were brought in under Thatcher. So now we're facing an onslaught on our trade union rights again. But we have to remember this: the Tories are starting where not just Thatcher left off, but where Blair and Brown left off. Because if they push them back, we wouldn't be talking about what we're facing today. Isn't it fantastic to hear a mass movement emerging that stands up for the environment, that stands up against racism, that stands up in defence of refugees? Seemed and came to many of them out of the blue. This old mole burrowing away beneath our society. So what are our tasks today? I think the tasks that emerge, because the election isn't the end of this process. The election of Jeremy Corbyn as Labour leader has to be the start of the process. It has to be the start of building a genuine democratic mass movement that demands the politics that ordinary people want, demands the politics that workers want, demands the politics that young people, pensioners, black and white people want, to change this system fundamentally. And against us there are huge enemies arrayed. Ultimately, the British ruling class is watching what is going on at this conference. Their friends in the media, their friends in big business, and yes, their friends in the state, including in MI5 and the special branch and the CIA, are watching what is going on, and you've seen just a little hint of that with this quote from the General threatening what would happen in terms of we need to be under no illusions about how serious this is. And the only thing that would defend Jeremy Corbyn and the potential government that emerges out of such a campaign is a mass movement is prepared and thinking about all of those threats. We also have to face up to the fact that there are threats within our own movement as well. I've mentioned one of them: people trying to stop John McDonnell becoming Shadow Chancellor. Because if that had happened, actually we would have seen already Jeremy Corbyn as a lame duck Labour leader. So it was absolutely the right thing to do, and it's a position we have to defend unequivocally. Claire mentioned this manifesto that the Sussex LRC is selling. Just a very, very quick read. It's fantastic information, points made in there. It refers to the previous position where it says that the hard-faced men and their political friends kept control of the government. They controlled the banks, the mines, the big industries, largely the press and the cinema. They controlled the means by which people got their living. Well, actually, not a lot has changed. They're talking about the ruling class, and the truth is, we still have a ruling class who control all of those things, although by and large, they've unfortunately destroyed the mining industry in order to destroy one of the greatest trade unions that this movement by the way, in this pamphlet, which you would almost be expelled from the Labour Party for quoting in recent times. By the way, I was expelled from the Labour Party. And it says, the Labour Party is a socialist party and proud of it. Its ultimate purpose at home is the establishment of the socialist commonwealth. Well, what a fantastic ideal to set before ourselves. Because people say actually having long-term goals is all a bit idealistic. Well, I say this, you can't build a movement without having fundamental and long-term goals. And what better one to say than we aim to transform society and to build a society which is based not on the rule of profit on behalf of a tiny minority, but on behalf of a democratic society that makes decisions on behalf of the vast majority, not just in Britain, but indeed internationally. That's the task. Those are the sights that we need to set ourselves. And I'll finish on this point about my own union. My own union, as I say, disaffiliated in 2004. I spoke at the TUC a couple of weeks ago and I said, actually, the world has changed. The political world has changed. And my union and every other union will have to consider how we respond to that changed world.
Come back! Yeah!
That's a matter for our members to take. It was taken democratically, and any other decision will have to be taken democratically by members of the Fire Brigade Union. But my union, and all unions, are built by people who argue and fight day by day to improve a lot of workers, whether it's representing people in disciplines, grievances, fighting for pay, fighting for pensions or whatever. But my union, as most of our great unions, was also built by people who had that longer-term vision. And my union was built by socialists, and we're proud that in the preamble to our rule book we maintain our socialist clause that says we're part of the international working class movement and that our ultimate aim is the bringing about of the socialist form of society. So that's where the Fire Brigade Union stands, that's our traditions, and we're proud to have supported Jeremy Corbyn from the start of this campaign, after the election, and as this fight goes forward. Thank you very much.